But I want to start with the NFL and jump right in. Kind of the weekend that was, give you my take on the games and kind of looking forward on a few things. I think the game of the weekend, probably New Orleans, Carolina, the highest level football, definitely shows you the difference between a good quarterback and then a franchise QB. I mean, Drew Brees, no running game. Went out and had to go out and throw for damn near 400 yards to beat Carolina. And even then, it almost wasn't enough. Cam Newton, the big difference in the game to me, they couldn't protect Cam. And it's been an ongoing theme for Carolina. Now, this isn't an issue of Cam Newton running around and getting hurt. Cam was compromised and then was further compromised from the repeated hits he was taking. I thought Cam Hayward had a big day. But honestly, when you look at kind of how this breaks down, Drew Brees is the separator. Those are both really good football teams. Those are both really talented rosters. I don't think there was really a team that deserved to lose. But when you look at it, that's why Drew Brees is what he is. And frankly, Cam, because of the pressure on that last drive, couldn't step into what should have been the game-winning touchdown. But a hell of a football game, and that's what the best of the NFL looks like. High level, high skill, high drama. It's just really, really good stuff. But very impressed by New Orleans and Carolina. Didn't feel like you deserved a loser. The other end of the spectrum would be the garbage you watched yesterday between Jacksonville and Buffalo. Now, look, again, you're looking at two teams, no quarterback between them. Jacksonville, no matter what they do this year short of a Super Bowl, must go out and acquire a quarterback. I don't care what they have to do. I don't care if it's a first-round pick. I don't care if it's a liquidation of some assets on the team. Jacksonville is in the exact spot that Denver was in last year. You cannot let it go too far down the road. Their defense is simply unbelievable. Jalen Ramsey, you're looking at not only the best corner in football, you're looking at one of the best corners I've seen in 10 years. He is big, he's athletic, he's strong, he's smart. Jalen Ramsey is a bona fide, not Pro Bowler, all-pro selection. You don't get that for cheap for very long. Jalen Ramsey will be paid $20 million a year sooner rather than later. The Jags better go get a QB. For Buffalo, again, what did you expect? This is what happens when teams generally back into the playoffs. They just don't have an offense. I thought LaShawn McCoy was gutty, played hurt, got through it. That's a Jag defense. They don't just stop you. They hurt you. They hit you. Athletes everywhere, not only along that front with guys like Malik Jackson and Calais Campbell, but even at the linebacker level with Posluszny, Miles Jack. That defense is nasty. But it's just clear Jacksonville is going to be compromised until or unless they get some semblance of quarterback play. Bortles is an embarrassment. You know, rushing for more yards than you throw for, missing wide open receivers on multiple third and mediums. And we're talking simple throws 4, 5, 6 yards downfield. Blake Bortles is absolutely morbid. They cannot go forward like this. But yesterday it was enough, and they got through. I think their defense will play really well against Pittsburgh, but if you think you're intercepting Big Ben 5 times again like you did in Week 5, if you think you're going to hold them to 3 points, something's got to give. And that means Bortles has to go on the road in the elements to Pittsburgh and play maybe the best game of his life. Not sure you want to put any of your paycheck on that. Go to Saturday with those games. I can't help it. I love Marcus Mariota. I know he's been hurt all year. I know he hasn't developed the way that people like me had hoped. But when you look at Tennessee, they just look like a team that is getting really, really close. Lewan and Conklin at tackle, the running back tandem, albeit DeMarco Murray not healthy this week, but Derrick Henry. You've got a quarterback that is trying to fit the system, trying to do the things they're asking him to do by not running. And Mariota played well enough. That's on the road in Kansas City. Might be the toughest road environment out there. And I thought it was an unbelievable comeback. It takes balls. It takes guts. It takes a locker room that's going to be together after you're down 21-3. Let's face it. They're not going to New England and winning. I think every guy on that roster knows it deep down, but they still cared enough and didn't fray at the edges and made one of the great postseason comebacks you'll ever see. Mariota, big time, big time, big time. And you had a wacky play where he threw it, tipped it, caught it, ran it in. It's a fun play. Let's not get carried away and act like any of that is remotely planned. It's a bang, bang, oh, bleep moment. Oh, my God, I've got the ball and I might score type of thing. For Kansas City, we've seen this movie before. You go back a couple of years, they blew a massive lead to Andrew Luck when Andrew Luck had two shoulders. I don't know what you do at this point. You can blame Alex Smith, except Alex Smith was fantastic for a good part of that game. You can blame Andy Reid, except, well, look, the offense and the way that they've carved out this niche college thing. I'm not sure I'm ready to go for Andy Reid's throat. I think two things were the culprit. Well, three, if you want to be honest. They lost a defensive MVP caliber player this season in Eric Berry. They had no running game this week. They just couldn't get it going, to the tune of 40 or 50 yards on the ground in some total. And if you want to be honest about things, they lost their best offensive player midstream in Travis Kelce. So, yeah, blowing a 21-3 lead can't happen except when it does. And when you take away a team who's already limited in the passing game and you take away their biggest threat, they don't have a big-time quarterback. That's going to hurt you. When you turn around and you can't run the ball to secure the lead, that's going to hurt you. I just can't get carried away. Overall, no, it can't happen. It shouldn't happen. There'll be a new OC here in Kansas City. Do you hand the job to Patrick Mahomes III, the kid they drafted out of Texas Tech? I don't know. I think you can have a competition, but I can't pin it on Alex Smith. I think there are reasons they couldn't get it done. Tennessee flat out stepped up, took the running game away. And Alex Smith with Kelce is a different quarterback than without. So, great theater, great football game, marred by terrible officiating. More on that in a bit. But look, props to Tennessee. That's a program win, as you would say. That's something the Lions would need to do. That furthers your program. That furthers your credibility. It's a building block. Yeah, they'll probably go to New England and get their head taken off. But it's a building block. Malarkey probably needed the win to save his job. Overall, that's a step for the franchise, and whatever happens here, total gravy. Go to Atlanta and L.A., some quick thoughts on that. Look, L.A., you kind of knew this was going to happen. We talked about it Friday when TJ had joined us. Sully, me, David, we all kind of felt, look, Rams are so young. A lot of guys making that debut. I know the Rams have looked broken for large stretches this year. Maybe not the team we thought they were. Maybe not the team they actually were last year. But a lot of experience. I know Sean McVay was sensitive to the discussion about was the moment too big. I got to be honest, it kind of looked that way. Here's why. They have a talented roster. But Jared Goff going in and going about 19 of 40 or whatever it is, 19 for 45, it's not good enough. Goff looked rattled. He didn't look comfortable. He didn't look confident. That is supposed to be the greatest show on turf. They ended the game with basically three people catching passes. Their screen game was nullified. Atlanta's defense came out fast, physical. They took it away. And you'll look at Atlanta, and you'll look at Matty Ice not throwing for 200 yards. You'll look at the ground game being limited. How did this happen? It's simple. They capitalized on a couple of mistakes, got an early lead, sat on the football, and once you're ahead, basically you could take Gurley away by score, down, distance, and time. And once you do that, you're putting it all on a second-year QB who, for all intensive purposes, is a rookie. Because last year, under Jeff Fisher, he didn't learn anything. Now, Atlanta, have they caught the magic? Are they going to go on that run? Are they going to be another NFC 6 seed to go to a Super Bowl? I don't want to get carried away. But do they go to Philadelphia against Nick Foles and not Wentz? They do. Do they look like the sexy pick for a road team this weekend? Yes, they do. Are they the first divisional round road team to be favored in the modern era of the NFL playoff bracket? Yes, they are. Atlanta has the look of a team that may not get it done, but will be playing for a chance to go to the Super Bowl in 2 weeks. Nice performance for them. Caught the right break, playing the right team. I think the games this weekend are incredibly interesting. I don't want to go through those now. We'll go through those towards the end of the week. But the NFC specifically with Atlanta, let's see what the elements look like in Philly. Minnesota lying in wait, that immovable object against Drew Brees and that unbelievable offense, that should be theater. I think the New England game's a snoozer. If you've got some commitments to the kids or to the mother-in-law or to chores, you can do it during the New England game. I'd be surprised if Tennessee can stick with them. I think Pittsburgh and Jacksonville could be interesting, provided Blake Bortles packs his brain and doesn't show up like Ray Liotta at the end of Hannibal being fed his own skull. So a lot to discuss with the NFL. I can tell you guys are fired up. I'll throw the number out, not like it matters, 248-539-9797.